Warner Brothers' ambitious attempt to bring the Harry Potter franchise to the big screen paid off when The Sorcerer's Stone, or The Philosopher's Stone, became one of the highest-grossing movies of its time. A day after its premiere, production began on The Chamber of Secrets. It had Chris Columbus returning as director, Steve Kloves was back writing, and the cast was reprising their roles. So with the same kind of sets and the same kind of story taking place over the course of a school year, could they literally make magic strike twice? I've seen the Harry Potter movies countless times. I almost saw every one of them in theaters, and when I'd get the DVD, I would continuously rewatch the most recent installment until the newest film was released. I actually missed out on the first film during its initial release, but Chamber of Secrets is one of my earliest movie memories. The terror of the spiders and the finale with the snake still echo in my brain. I still have these vivid images of being in my seat, feeling the size and epic scale of the Harry Potter adventure. I became a fan that day, and ever since, this has remained one of my favorite franchises. As such, for many years, the second movie remained my favorite, as the mystery element, different set pieces, secret passageways, and a ballsy finale always kept me highly invested. However, as the years have passed, I've come to be less and less intrigued by this one, and with the later movies, I don't really believe the punch of year 2 is as effective. Like the first movie, it begins with the Dursleys' home, then a journey into Diagon Alley, Platform 9 3/4, Quidditch, a mystery involving the secrets of Voldemort, and various shenanigans in different classrooms. After the Sorcerer's Stone, you can't help but feel that this one is way too familiar to what we've seen previously. As a kid, I liked it more because it had a better story and didn't dwindle too much on the introductions of characters or the ideas of magic. We got right into the plot in a world we already understood. I admire what the production team was going for, wanting to once again follow the book as closely as possible without any details cut, and keeping it consistent with the previous entry, while allowing for a darker tone. If you watch the documentaries about the initial Chris Columbus movies, this was a dedicated task that became quite a burden on the director. He poured everything he got into this saga, but is the major reason for dropping out and letting other directors in. Alfonso Cuarón would take on Prisoner of Azkaban, which went for a different style and tone while fitting into the mold of the first two. With the wider array of directors and the source material that became more and more complex as the books went on, I ended up finding more to enjoy with the sequels on a cinematic level. I still love Chamber of Secrets for so many reasons, but it does run a bit too long. I know it's always a criticism of the franchise for all the elements that were cut from the book, but sometimes it was done for good reason. Sure, Order of Phoenix took out huge storylines from the biggest book to make the shortest movie, but nothing that really impacted the overall arc of the franchise. Movies still need to be movies, and that requires making the edits when possible. Chamber of Secrets almost keeps too much in, which is good for fans of the book series, but bad for a film experience. I still stand by what my younger analysis said, that this plotline is better than the 2001 picture, and the characters are more developed, with better effects, darker moods, and less origin stories. But at the same time, visiting the series now, it doesn't really have that same magical feel that Sorcerer's Stone has, because that felt more like the classic fantasy tale. In retrospect, that has saved that movie of any criticisms I'd have of it, because it just ages so well. Chamber of Secrets is the first true Harry Potter movie, self-involved in the wizarding world. From this point on, it was all about the fans. But with the cinematography and story risks the next films would take, Chamber of Secrets feels like a bloated oddball. There's still so much to like about it, because I do love these characters. The cast is still out of this world, and it gives characters like Dumbledore, Hagrid, McGonagall, Snape, and Draco Malfoy more to do this time around. The Chamber of Secrets itself is still one of the coolest sets I've ever seen, and the snake is creepy and scary. Harry fighting it off made up for the more silly antics of the finale in the previous film. The humor also works better, and I like how well some of these things were translated to the screen. If you read the book, you'd be amazed by how spot on some of these places and events become.
We get more interesting magic tricks and potions, and we get the introduction of Lucius Malfoy, played so terrifyingly well by Jason Isaacs. My favorite character comes from Gilderoy Lockhart, which is, in my opinion, Kenneth Branagh's best role. He hits this one perfectly, with the right amount of comedy and charm. My solemn wish is to someday see more of him. And while the emotions become more heavy as the series went along, this still had some touching moments with Dobby, and especially with Hagrid's return to Hogwarts. This definitely is nostalgia for my generation. So on the whole, like every Harry Potter, I still like this profusely. The only reason it now hits the bottom of my list is because my retrospective feelings are more complex. I think the latter installments were better and did more, and improved upon many areas with each edition. And the first one still works because it is the first. Sequels have a hard time defining themselves past the original. Harry Potter had the advantage of a meticulous crew, a forgiving studio, a helpful writer, and a source material that was one of a kind. Add in some different visions and creators, and you're in for some amazing treats. But Chamber of Secrets feels so similar to what came before, it ends up becoming its downfall, something I don't think I would have foreseen during its initial release. Of course, anything is better than Crimes of Grindelwald. Thanks to Lucas for this Patreon request, and thanks to all my Patreon supporters. For only $7, you can get your own monthly movie review. Ask me to review anything I haven't already. There's also other perks like blogs, exclusive videos, and early access. You can also follow me on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram, and thanks so much for watching this video.